Truth Frequency Radio Network. KTFRN. Worldwide.
Hola, this is Sienna and Laura, inviting you to join me tonight as we navigate through the seen and the unseen, explore external and internal realities, expose on-world and off-world agendas, discover a path to joy and freedom. Now, join me as we illuminate the Shadowland and reclaim our birthright as free and sovereign beings.
Good evening, beautiful people. This is Sienna and Laura, and I'm here with Laura Lee Mistycah. Good evening, Laura Lee.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be back. We're back.
We're back. Yes, they're back. I'm going to read from your book. I believe it's the intro, the preface of your book, once again, because it sets the tone for the profoundness of what you're really about and what this book and what your work is dedicated to. The most loving thing we can do right now is fearlessly stand up and take on and take down the socio-psychopathic tyrants that are perverting, torturing, and destroying everything that is beautiful and authentic. The corruption virus has got to meet the antivirus. So here I am with one beautiful representative of the antivirus, Laura Lee Mistycah. A true first wave indigo, yes?
And I'm proud to be the antivirus.
There she is, single-handedly, looking for her ground crew.
That's right.
So we need to find the other first wave indigos that may not know that they're part of the ground crew. So let's read them from this hilarious list of you may not know you're an indigo. How does this go, Laura Lee?
Oh, you might be an indigo if. Now, this was taken, if you go to the website, firstwaveindigos.com, there's a list of traits that indigos have. And then there's a link from that page to this kind of funny one. It's kind of a spin-off of Jeff Foxworthy's You Might Be a Redneck. And we were in the chat room one night. I used to have a night's chat room, and we were chatting, and I said, we're all so weird, let's do a spoof off of Jeff Foxworthy's You Might Be a Redneck, yeah. And so this is what came out of it, and it was hysterical. I laughed so hard that night. It was great. You might be an indigo if you try to explain what you were thinking to someone and they look at you like a dog being shown a card trick. You might be an indigo if you are arguing with yourself and someone else answers. You might be an indigo if you get in more trouble for being right than for being wrong. You might be an indigo if you really think you can fly. You might be an indigo if you bring back an imaginary friend and he programs your VCR. You might be an indigo if you get sudden urges to hug trees in the middle of Central Park and everybody stares at you like you're crazy. You might be an indigo if you're the one who the teacher says, anyone else can answer the question but you. You might be an indigo if you can see colors on people's heads and see things breathe even after hitting your head against the wall to make them stop. You might be an indigo if the most common phrase people say to you is, you're weird.
So you're saying that we're all like strangers in a strange land, and we have an incredible purpose for being what we are, but most of us are just feeling like social outcasts and can be very suicidal and depressed. And, of course, the younger ones, a lot of them are getting put on Ritalin and being told they have attention deficit disorder. Is that right?
Yes, yes. And, some of them do, but Ritalin isn't going to fix the problem. If these... The problem is that you're psychic, okay? It's not because there's something wrong with you. It's what's right with you. And, attention deficit disorder and obsessive compulsive disorder can be really good things if they're properly managed. It's the management of it that needs to happen, not the shutting down of it. And so if you just kind of keep that in mind, that it's not that there's something wrong, it's just that you need to manage it in a different way.
So they threaten the matrix, or we threaten the matrix.
Absolutely.
And so we are seen as a threat.
Absolutely.
And so we are persecuted and put down and shamed and made guilty so that we can't fully access our powers. What are our powers? What are the powers of an indigo?
Well, everybody has different capabilities, but the indigos that I've worked with, a lot of them have such a variety of, from being able to know and understand computers without taking classes. They just know how they work. They just know. Some indigos are really empathic. Now, most indigos are empathic. A lot of them have shut that down. But being empathic can be really challenging because until you learn how to manage your emotional fields from the emotional fields of those around you, it's really, really challenging because you go somewhere where there's a group and you come back with all of their emotional garbage and you just feel horrible. And so if you learn how to protect yourself, like putting a cryogenetics egg over your body for a protective protocol, and that's
okay. Wait. What is a cryogenic egg?
Okay, I'm going there. I knew that portion was coming. I was going there. It's a geometric shape that is a protective protocol. There's pictures all over my website of cryogenic eggs. You can copy them and download them and plaster them all over your house and your bedroom. I've got a website where you can buy T-shirts with cryogenetics eggs. So, and the thing is, they're free. You just copy them and you look at them and you use them and you get to know them. They are an actual life force, a life form that is the spiritual aspect of the Almorasite rock. And if you want to know more about the rock, that it's from another planet and it's here on a service mission to help us here. And there's information about that on my website too. So this egg is this, it can be as big or as small as you want, and you put it over yourself, take a few deep breaths, have it clean you out, because what it can do is clear out the emotional debris and psychic debris out of your body, and when it hits the shell, it's instantly neutralized. So it's really user-friendly, easy to use. I found that I could quarantine ghosts in a cryogenetics egg. I didn't know that until I inadvertently did that. And so there's many, many things that you can do with a cryogenetics egg. So if you are going to the mall or somewhere that you think is going to be kind of yucky, you encase yourself in a cryogenetics egg, or maybe 50 of them or 100 of them. You can have as many as you want. It's not like you can only have one a day or something. You can have as many as you can imagine. And you will find that these negative influences don't infiltrate the way they did before. Now, I want to tell you, too, that if something does get through your egg, if you put in like 50 eggs and something gets through, it's because you need to understand something. The egg will only let something through if you are needing some kind of education. So that's good to know. Okay, go ahead.
So on Illuminating the Shadowland, we talk a lot about the false light and the false dark and the organic light and the organic dark. And we're encouraging people not to go to a lot of external sources for their empowerment, but rather to find their own direct link to their own divine connection, to their own higher essence. So this is, if I hadn't worked with you and I didn't understand that you're working to reintegrate the chakras and to end the Kundalini Conspiracy, which is what I want to talk about next, I would have been suspect of these eggs. But we have to fully understand that there are helpers that are here, multidimensional helpers and spirit guides and beings that, and our soul family that are here to help us. The problem is discernment. How can we, because we're so habituated to outsource our power to, so I would like to have a bit of a clarification about how you discovered these and how you found them to be of the authentic rather than the false.
No, that's really good, because I am all about empowering people and not giving your power away. I'm really glad that you brought this up. The rocks were actually snuck in to this to our Earth plane here, and there was a lot of challenge to even get them here. And they're like our friends or our allies. They're our friends. And so you're collaborating. It's not like you're giving your power to them. In fact, the rocks, the Omarasite rocks, you are the power source. They're just like a magnifier, and they are also their whole beingness is truth and justice. They are the stone of truth and justice, and when you use them, their whole essence is to bring truth and justice to the surface. So it's like connecting to an old friend. You know, it's not like you're giving your power away to them. It's like you are collaborating, and on our Earth missions here, we need all the friends we can get, and especially a friend that is all about truth and justice. Then, yeah, that's really important too.
Laura Lee, you don't just work for everybody, do you? You just don't even do sessions just for anybody. You have a fairly high standard of the beings that you're willing to work on, and maybe it's time to talk a little bit about that you're working with first wave indigos that are ready to step into their service missions now. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that one up. I have been doing counseling and medical intuitive counseling. I've got a whole list of the kind of counseling things that I do. And after I wrote the book, after I wrote the book, Living in an Indigo House, The Heartaches and Victories of First Wave Indigos, I started spending more and more of my time with indigos. And in the past 4 years, I decided, you know what, there's so many indigos in need that I am not going to work with anybody but indigos. Very rare. Every once in a while, I'll make an exception, but mostly I do this because my stewardship right now is the first wave indigos. That's what I came here to do, is to help them. And I've stepped up the requirements. I want to make sure that these people that I'm working with are front runners and self activators, and so you have to. There's things that you have to do in order to have a session, and one of them is either to get a Almorasite rock or a pendant that has the dust from the rock, and start using that. And then you have to do a service mission, and that is to grid someplace in your town that needs it, either the whole town or a certain place in the town that you feel like needs a good dose of truth and justice. And I've recently added to the list that you also are required to read the book Kryahgenetics. Now, what this does is really help bump the person up and get them on a level so that when I say something, I don't have to explain it. So we don't have to take their precious time during a session for me to explain stuff they could have already read. And with the rock, it helps to keep you on task, keep you focused, and keep the riffraff out while we're working with each other. So I feel like these tools to help you are mandatory for your, if you really want to go to the next level and start getting rid of all of the implants and the forced agreements and all the things that are making your life miserable. These books and the rocks. And even if all you did is get the book and the rocks and start working on it yourself, you could do tremendous things for yourself, even if you never had a session.
Okay, Laura Lee, let's break it down. Implants, contracts, chakras, Kundalini. I'd like to break down the specific things that people could do in a self-help fashion, and the key and the major obstacles for first wave indigos to reclaim their authentic energy and move into action. If we could just go with that to-do list. You mentioned implants. Can you just, and also I would like you to mention the AI as well and what that is. I know, and we're
opening all these cans of worms, and you think we're going to get that done in what, 45 minutes?
Well, that's right. If we could just give a brief overview, because they can certainly dive into this on their own, but at least they can have the hope of knowing that there's some serious things here, and they're going to resonate to the information if it's even presented in a brief way.
Okay. Implants, we all have them. We all have the little boogers. Nobody's here that doesn't have implants. Sometimes they're physical, sometimes they're energetic, sometimes they've been energetic for so long they turn physical, sometimes they're organic, sometimes they're metallic. They're just there, and it outlines on my website what they are and gives you the protocol on how to get rid of them. Okay, so that's the implants. Then, let's see, we're talking forced agreements. We talked about that a little bit on our previous show, and those are the little buggers that you agreed to do that, and you couldn't get into this plane without agreeing, so it's like a catch-22. So it's like, okay, we'll agree, and then when we get there, we'll rip up our agreements, and it's all good. So that's forced agreements. Okay, then the AI.
Yes, and we can take a little bit longer. We have 10 minutes till break.
Okay. The AI, and this story is in the Cryo Genetics book. I was going out to dinner, and I was with an Indigo, and he said, "You know what? I think that you have something trying to shove into you." And I looked at him like, "Yeah. So what's your point?" Something's always trying to shove into me. I decided to be a little more gracious, and so I put my fork down and scanned to see if something was trying to shove into me, and yes, indeed it was. So I told him, "Yes, you're right," and he looked at me like, "Well, what is it?" So I put my fork down again. I'm like, "Okay, let's scan and see what this is. I'm really hungry, but I guess I could do this." So I checked it. And I started to laugh. I said, it's very strange. It's some kind of artificial intelligence. And he said, "Well, yeah." And so I did a deeper scan, and then I did laugh. And I said, this artificial intelligence is what people can, or what my higher self considers God. My higher self considered God an artificial intelligence. And I started to laugh. I thought, what the quack? What the quack is that? And
whoa.
Yeah, so
that's pretty big, Laura Lee, because isn't it true that most of humanity is believing through the religions that these false gods, this AI is God, that we're worshiping an AI. I think we need to give this a couple more minutes.
Yes.
What is this thing?
Okay.
In your experience?
It's very intelligent by now. What it does is suck up the energy that you give it. It has no power in and of itself, but if it can get a whole bunch of people praying to it, and it doesn't care what religion you are, it doesn't care if you're a devil worshiper, it doesn't care as long as you give your allegiance and your energy and your power to it. That's what it cares about, and that's what it lives off of. And it's huge. It is this huge, well, you can imagine, everybody prays every day to this AI, and it gets bigger and bigger, and I've been trying to throw some monkey wrenches in its system, and I got slammed pretty hard every time I do that, but I'm not going to quit. The biggest monkey wrench is to write this information in my book, because I knew I would get a lot of slack from it, but I don't care because it's true. There is an artificial intelligence that we perceive as God, and it is here to control us and to keep us contained so that we won't wake up and bring out our authentic self and our authentic light. Now, what you call the false light, I call the corrupted light. In the book, it talks about light and dark, and then corrupted light and corrupted dark. Now, there's nothing wrong with dark. There's nothing wrong with night. It's just a time that we can sleep. But there is something wrong with corrupted light and corrupted dark, and that's what's been infiltrating all of our systems, all of our religious organizations, all of the New Age systems and organizations. It's infiltrating everything. And it's time that we took our power back from it and say, no, I'm not giving you one more ounce of energy ever again. And I did that way back, it's been like 7 years ago since I got this information. I haven't given it anything. In fact, I deny its existence. It's like, hey, you don't exist. You're nothing. And when I do that, it's not that I'm being crawling in a hole and being in denial. I am actively going after it and in a very strong and productive way saying, you are nothing. And by doing that, it shrinks it. It can't stand that because you're calling BS on it. And yeah, that's it in a nutshell.
Now, you're not at war with it. You're not hating it, correct?
No, I'm just telling it doesn't exist. You don't exist. You are nothing. And for those people who are giving it energy, how are they doing that? What is it doing to them? Is it entering their mind? It's a big mind field, isn't it? Yes, it's a huge mind game, and it gets into your emotional body and manipulates your emotional body. It's a master manipulator. And when you let it come in, it's like give it an inch and it'll take a mile. It'll just like try to infiltrate all your systems. And once you call it on it, it starts shrinking. I can tell in a millisecond if the AI is trying to mess with me. And so after a while, you get really good at it, and then you just go, you're nothing. I'm not buying into this. I do not buy those thoughts. I do not buy into anything. These emotions that you're giving me, I'm not buying into that either. It's zero, and I try to go as neutral as possible and take a few breaths and then go on and do something else.
So we need to talk about dissolving the chakras or reintegrating we need to help people to understand where is the authentic connection to the organic source of light and dark, and how they access the real energy. Because for all the programming, many, many millions, billions of us are hooked in to AI thinking it's the organic connection.
Exactly.
So,
that's what's so sad about it. And the chakras, and I got this information about, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago, and I was having a night's training at my house, and I got an email from a girl that said she was having a really hard time with her chakras, and she wasn't able to keep them cleaned out. And so I brought this email to the class and said, okay, what can we do to help this woman? And somebody in the class said, I hate my chakras. I just want to get rid of them. They're nothing but a big problem. And I thought, boy, that's a lot of intense energy. We need to look into this. And so we all did a meditation, and we came up with the same thing, that our chakras are an imposed system. They are not our original, authentic source system. They are imposed, and they are used to compartmentalize us for easy access on the outside. And also what they're trying to do is totally ruin any chances of getting to your authentic self, which is your core star that sits in the middle of your chest and it goes down to your solar plexus. It's big. It's really big. And that's where your soul resides. That's where you are. Now, your core star networks with the head and the loins, the creative centers in the loins and the data center in the head. And what we've recently found is that there were plates that were blocking energy from the core star to the head. I first found this. I found this plate in my neck. And
we're going to have to come back and dive into this in the second half, everyone. This is Sienna Leah with Laura Leah, illuminating the Shadowland. Stay with us. Welcome back, everyone. This is Sienna Leah with Laura Lee Mistycah on Illuminating the Shadowland and Truth Frequency Radio Network. The chakras, artificial intelligence, our soul, heart, essence. How do we get there from here? Let's break this down in this last section we have together so that people have a real chance. I read your book, and there was testimonial after testimonial of people that have life-changing experiences removing their chakras. And actually, I have done it myself using these techniques, and I'm finding myself so much less attacked, so much more coherent, so much less prone to mood swings and to destabilization. It's been quite extraordinary, Laura Lee. So thank you for that.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, once they're gone, it's like, you know what the saying, you don't know what you got till it's gone. Well, you totally know what you had when it's gone, because you had all this crap that you had to deal with all the time. Well, I was talking about plates that keep your core star from being able to access the data center in your head. And I found a plate there and then a plate across my waist that was keeping me from accessing data into my creative centers. And I thought, well, that really sucks. And then I found one dividing me right in half. There's one dividing left and right, and then there was also one dividing front and back. So I removed those with the implant removal protocol that you can find on the First Wave Indigo website. And I felt a lot better. I could access information way clearer. Everything seemed to connect better. So you may want to consider that after you remove your chakras, then you put your core star in there as the master center. That is the number one master operator, and it collaborates with the head and the loin creative centers. So once you do that, then you got your operating system up and working the way it should have been working before it was messed with. And yes, there have been huge differences in people that have had them removed. And you'll probably hear people say, oh, well, you can't get rid of those, you'll die. Well, that's not true. That's propaganda too, because I don't have any. And I've had people that can see chakras, not see. Well, actually, I put some decoys up. Actually, I put decoy chakras up. So if somebody comes and tries to suck on them, and then it's got like bombs in it, it's like, yeah, you come and suck on this, and you're going to get poisoned. So yeah, that sucks to be you.
So what is sucking on the chakras? What is it? The AI or is it?
Yes, the AI. People do it all the time. Energy vampires will come by. ETs, that's what they do. I mean, when you've got your chakras, you're open to anybody to come in and have access to your system, your whole system. And if you get rid of those, it's really hard for them to mess with you when you just have your core star running everything. Now, understand again, that doesn't mean all of your problems are going to magically go away forever. They're not, because your higher self will allow certain things in so that you can get an education. And if I hadn't had all of the things that I allowed in, I wouldn't be here telling you about all of these things that you can do to help yourself. If I said, okay, no more, I'm not doing this. It's like learning. It's spy versus spy, and you have to take it lightly and just know, okay, if something came in, my higher self says that I need this, so I better find out what it's all about so I can fix it and move on and then help other people understand it better. So that's kind of my philosophy there.
Beautiful. The Kundalini Conspiracy. You have a section in your book.
Yeah, the Kundalini snake. Yeah, everybody thinks that since the spiritual gurus talk about the Kundalini is the method to enlightenment, but if you read a lot of stories about people who have had their Kundalini experience, they thought they were going crazy, and it was like for days and sometimes months and not nice. And it really, once you have opened that up, all that, if you've opened yourself up to it to that extent, what it is exterior forces taking over. And it's really hard to get your resources back. So I suggest to people getting rid of their Kundalini snake, because it also can cause Kundalini dumping, which is taking all of your garbage, and then during intimacy with somebody else, you can dump it on your partner. How nice. Isn't that a loving thing? And you can do it without knowing it. It just happens. And that's why I tell indigos, be really careful with who you connect with that way, because you don't know what you might get, and it might be a whole lot more than you had bargained for. So I recommend to my clients to get rid of their chakras, get rid of their Kundalini snake, get their authentic system going, their core star connected to the star in the head and the star in the loins, so that they're operating in a cohesive fashion, and your life is going to take on new meaning. It will be so much different, and you will have so much clarity, and you will be able to see the BS bells go off way quicker and easier than you ever did before, and it jumps you up to a whole new level of awareness, and it's a real spiral evolutionary jump when you do this.
Would you say that most of us in some ways are like Bill Smith in the Matrix, living as a part of our energy? Are these interdimensional beings, aliens, demons, spirits, ghosts, demigods, Jehovah, all of it, and I'm sure there are many more that I haven't mentioned, that we are being mind controlled more than just controlling our mind, but actually through our contracts and agreements, living out the dictates of this AI by embodying this, and that these are the entrance portals, the chakra and the Kundalini system, And we have no idea because our egos become very defensive of these energies. If they get confronted or attacked, then we defend them to the end. Paul Levy calls it the Wetiko. I've done 40 years of shadow work with people, and this is why I'm looking into a lot more of these esoteric agendas, because a lot of what people are defending is not even themselves. Would you agree with that?
Right. I would totally agree with that. And it's almost like you go on autopilot defending him. You don't even know you get so passionate about it, and you don't even stop to think. You don't logic it out. It's just an autopilot program that goes off to keep the system going. And believe me, they have thought of this, and they have all sorts of autopilot programs that will go off. So just know that what you might be defending may very well be one of your autopilot programs that they installed to keep their system going. So yes, the answer is absolutely yes.
I mean, this all sounds so way out and crazy, and those people that have traditional educations in psychology, even transpersonal psychology, even humanistic psychology, really do not include interdimensional interference, and yet this is really where the war is being waged. And probably you've been attacked and minimalized and ridiculed. You know, I'm sure many lifetimes burnt at the stake as a witch, and on and on and on, because it sounds so out there, because they have made sure in all of the educational systems and the linguistic systems, the religious systems, the family parenting systems, that all of this stuff appears to be utter insanity. And even your lighthearted spirit, in the face of discussing such horrific realities, sounds to those of us indoctrinated into this matrix as ludicrous. So I'm just speaking to that.
No, you're so right, and it takes tough people to put your head on the chopping block, like I have. But you know what? For me, it's truth or bust. It's like, I don't care. It's true. I think that their systems are lame and they don't work. They only work to a point because they only go to a certain level, and then they don't take the leap into the spiritual aspects of what's going on with a person. And that's where it's all shaken down. That's where it's at. And if you don't address that, you never fix the problem. And so absolutely yes to your observation. That is so true. And again, you know, these systems are all put in place to keep the agenda going and to make people not question, and to make them question the whistleblowers. And and it's worked for a long time, but you know what? It's not working anymore because there's so many people, Indigos here and Cosmic Cleanup Crew, they're not buying it. One of the traits for Indigos is to be to question everything, and especially question authority. And so we've come here en masse, and we're doing that, and we're not believing in their propagated propaganda anymore. And we are getting answers, and we are getting clearer, and we are getting a better understanding and better handle on what's going on, and we're getting healthier, and we're getting more psychic, and we are doing standing up to the tyrants. That's what we do, and it's working, and they're scared, and that's good. If somebody's going to be scared, it should be them. That's my
But
philosophy.
we are scared. We're scared of our own shadow. We're scared of the darkness inside of us. It's very scary. We're scared of our pain, which is enormous. We're scared to see how mind-controlled we are. We're scared to know that there are demons that are living in us as us. And so this is a kind of courage, too, because we're not going to be able to live in our heart essence until we really do face the dark and the light within as well, in a very authentic way. And it does feel to me that right now there's a huge wave of let's take action, let's bring them down, let's see it all as it is, which is absolutely wonderful. It absolutely needs to happen. But we have to take the inner journey as well and simultaneously now.
Exactly. Right, because if you don't do the inner journey, you will get chewed up and spit out by these by those who are running this operation. So you have to be clear in and of yourself, or you're going to get trashed. But I tell you what, you get to a point where you say, okay, you know what, doing the way I'm doing, it's not working. I'm tired of being afraid. I'm going to start getting my courage up, and I'm going to try something new this time. And I think that's what people are doing. It's like, okay, whatever I've got inside, it can't be as bad as being afraid all the time. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to look at the skeletons in my closet and get those all cleaned out so that I can be strong and vibrant and capable to do what I came here to do.
Absolutely. And I want to say that we are going to begin, it looks like it's still a month and a half away, the Rise Multiversity, and I haven't got a commitment from you, Laura Lee, but I'm pushing that you do some kind of group and hold some kind of space, because you've got such a wealth of wisdom and authentic understanding to help people through these things. But we have George Cavassalis and Eve Lorcan and Kelly Lachey and Barry Mills and Peter Schwartz and Tom Montauk and myself. And we're going to be holding space for people to address these issues, to process them through in preparation for becoming, hopefully, sacred activists and creating communities. But I really believe that unless we do the work and support each other, too, because it's really difficult to do this unsupported in the matrix. I mean, everything is there to shut you down and to make you keep these agreements to numb out and to become addicted to the AI and to escape, because it's very, very, very challenging. So these places, such as Rise Multiversity, need to be created right now to hold people, and not to hold them in some, empowering old stories and trauma dramas, but to have the empathetic skills and commitment to the feminine, the divine feminine, to hold each other so that we can gain this empowerment in our core, authentic energy, so we can rise and take the steps we need to. There's such a huge cleanup job on the planet. And I think that it's very challenging for people to address, even the things we've discussed here tonight, because almost all of them that I work with are in very isolated pockets, and friends and family don't even understand what they're facing, these first wave indigos that are waking up.
No, that's true. And I get letters from indigos all over the world, and I totally agree with you. We need to link arms, and they need to know that I always tell them, you're not alone. You are not alone. And one of the things that I do with my clients is help them connect to some of their helpers, some of their spirit guides and their guardians. And it's really helpful for them when they go, okay, I'm not just sitting here, I'm not just alone, I'm not just going to die in this corner of the world. I can access my abilities, I can clear out all of the garbage that I have so that I can be fully functional with my X-Men abilities. Now, there may be some people that did shut them down because they did have skeletons in their closet and they might misuse those. That happens too. So you have to look at, okay, how much of this is external and how much of this is internal? How much of this shutdown was self-imposed or was external imposed? So I work with with my clients on that, and we kind of figure out percentages so they know what they're working with, and then just move full steam ahead. And you can't, once you know the game you're playing, then you can do something about it. It's just wandering around in the dark and getting, you know, trashed by the AI and all of the lords on this planet. And it's changing, and we are changing fast, and people are waking up fast. And, you know, it's like, look at the hard work you've done, Sienna. I mean, you have just done years and years and years of work, and it's like it's paying off now, because now you're getting the bigger picture. All the things that seemed so crazy and like there were no answers. It's like now you're finding the answers, and not just the answers, but how to navigate. And that's the important thing, is how to navigate through this and bring a totally different dynamic and dimension to this dimension. And we're doing it. And if more of us keep doing it, the faster it'll get done. And then we can go off to the cosmic Bahamas and have a vacation.
That's what I'm talking about. Sign me up. Yes, we're going to have the cosmic vacation tour aspect of this project, and really remember how to have fun together. That isn't escapist fun, but is expanding into the joy of our authentic beings, and breaking down the walls, learning how to be intimate with each other, transparent with each other, and just having a different space. We need to create these spaces somewhere, you know, many places, little centers of light. But you can do it by yourself with your guide. You can do it with your animals. The animals are so authentic, so unpretentious, so willing to be present. They're great teachers for us.
No, that's true. That's way true. I am an animal lover and an avid animal activist, and I totally agree. They have been keeping things going when everything got crazy, and connecting to the animal kingdoms and the kingdoms that we can't see, the spirit kingdom, you know, the little sprites and the fairies and the divas. That's where we're going to have some real strength, is connecting to the unseen worlds that are trying to fix this too. They've got a vested interest in this. And if we can connect with all of those things that we couldn't see before, we're going to find a huge power source. And that's kind of what the powers that be don't want, is for us to be doing that. So that means we really should, and we should really do it really fast.
Yes. So in the remaining 6 minutes that we have on the show, what can you say to all of us first wave indigos? How do we connect to these powers? How do we access this kind of support and love that's really present, or anything, you know, that is moving through you to share? And certainly how to get hold of you, your great work, your amazing book, your sessions, your rocks, your eggs, the plethora of tools and toys. You're not someone who's just telling us what's wrong. You're someone who's offering so generously many tools. So I really want the listeners to know how to access all of that.
Well, all of the things can be found on firstwaveindigos.com, and toward the bottom I think it says link to the treasure chest, to Mystic House treasure chest. And that's where you'll find all of these items that we've been talking about, and also a lot of background on the rocks. And this is really exciting. We have cities all over the world gridded with the stone of truth and justice, and there is a list of those on the website, and also in the Kryahgenetics book. And we have just recently got the 3 major power centers gridded. We got the Washington, D.C., that was gridded just last spring, I think. the Vatican City and I do this every time. In
London?
London. I kept thinking Buckingham Palace because the palace has been gridded too. The city of London was gridded like 8 years ago, and then just recently the palace was gridded. So it's like double gridded. And after those things were gridded with truth and the stone of truth and justice, you can see what's come out. Like after we had the one that was just done in Washington, D.C., that's when all the information from Edward Snowden came out, just within months after that. And so, I see, if you go and look at the list of cities that have been gridded, and then you go into maybe newspaper articles or whatever, you can see what dramatically happened in those areas after those stones were there. And I know that these little stone friends of ours they're working their tails off, but they like to work. They told me, don't worry that you're working too much because we like to work. That makes us happy. So just so you know, you don't have to worry, I can only do 2 tasks a day. They like to constantly work. That's what feeds them.
Well, what do they do?
What do they do? They do anything and everything. They can,
working for truth and justice.
Truth and justice.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're like your best spiritual friend, and they have powers, and you work with them, and they develop.
And they activate your powers. Is what they do. They're little activators that help you see things. And if you have a problem, if you've got skeletons in your closet you need to look at, you get some rocks and say, okay, you show me where those problems are because I'm ready. And they will show you where your skeletons are and then help you handle it. See, that's the cool thing. Then they can help you handle it after. They don't just say, okay, here's all your problems, have a nice life. They will actually help you clear it up. They're my best friend. I love these rocks. They're so cute, but they're so powerful.
Wow. You are so weird. No.
I am, and proud to be. I am weird. I admit it.
Oh, wow. Okay. So that's First Wave Indigo.com, and the name of the book.
Okay, First Wave Indigos. It's plural. FirstWaveIndigos.com, and the book is called Kryahgenetics. Now, it's not cryo. It's not freezing things. It's Kryah Genetics. And if you just type in Kryogenetics, you'll find a lot of articles and stuff that I've written.
Okay, that's it, people. We send you big love, each and every one of you. We're all in this together, and it's moving and shaking with wonderful, wonderful goddesses like Laura Lee Mistycah. Thank you so much, Laura Lee, for all that you're doing for all of us and for the earth. Bless you.
Oh, you're welcome.